Welcome to Panels and Borders. I'm Dominic. This is another car rant video, but actually I'm parked right now. I'm just waiting for the coffee shop to open up. So I did a video earlier this morning about this whole Vox Adpocalypse thing, and it was all about basically the focus of that video is how much life does YouTube have left in it if they keep going down this road, making their platform more and more restrictive for creators. So I wanted to talk about the free speech aspect of this. Now, a lot of arguments I've always heard that people who are for this kind of censorship always say that, well, free speech only protects you from the government, not anything else. But when they usually make that argument, it's usually because something that they don't like is getting censored, so they're okay with it. But freedom of speech should be like an inherent principle. And so it should apply right across the board. It's something either you have it or you don't. What's the difference in a government what's the difference? Like if the government suppresses your speech or a big, huge corporation? I mean, it's the damage to society, in my opinion, is still going to be the same. It's just you're replacing one authoritarian with the next. So why would you be cool with a corporation doing it, but not cool with the government doing it? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I mentioned earlier in the video, well, first let me say, I wish these huge companies, which I know they never would do it, they have all kinds of reasons for doing this, but I wish people at Vox and stuff like that would get it through their skulls that they're only chaining themselves every time they ask for this kind of censorship. And the guy who started this new version of the second wave or third wave of Adpocalypse, it's already come back to bite him because his buddy who had a YouTube channel, he lost his ad revenue, so he was on there complaining about it. Well, I always see this happen all the time. You know, people that call for censorship, and then it comes back to bite them, and then they screech the loudest. Well, this is the world you wanted. This is the world you made, and you know it's going to come back to bite you. That's why I would never wish for anyone who expresses ideas and stuff that I can't stand. I would never wish for them to be censored. So it should be left up to the individual to decide what they want to watch, what message they want to listen to, and what they want to watch. That's ultimately where the buck should stop. I don't like the idea of anyone else deciding for me what message I can hear and listen to. Because once you ban something, you've taken away my right to hear that. And you've also taken away your own right to hear that message that everyone is opposed to, and then you take away the right for you to decide yourself whether to embrace or reject that message. To give you an example, I mentioned in the earlier video, I used to listen to a lot of paranormal talk shows. And there was a time actually when I was all for hate speech laws. And one of the paranormal shows I used to listen to was a show called The Kevin Smith Show. And occasionally on his show, he would say he completely disagreed with hate speech laws and thought there should be no hate speech laws and hate speech should be allowed. And I always disagreed with when he said that, and it never really clued in why. I always just thought, well, why would you have all this hateful speech? And then finally, as time went on, I kind of had flipped on a lot of my ideas in the last 5-6 years. And then I realized how important freedom of speech is and how corrupt hate speech laws can become and why they're no good. First of all, I don't think hate speech laws work. I don't think hate speech laws work to curb any kind of hatred or anything like that, or curb anything like that. I don't think they work. Second of all, it never stops at just, at any kind of, like the goalpost always moves. So, the thing about it is, and what flipped me around on the whole hate speech thing was, if you allow the most vile, most hateful speech out there, if you allow that to be free, then your speech will always be protected. And that's what kind of turned me around that idea. But see, once they eliminate the most vile and hateful speech, they're never going to stop there. They're going to keep moving up the ladder. And then it just becomes one political ideology trying to snuff out the other one. So that one political ideology can have a monopoly on ideas, and they can have more power and more control. So it's an interesting thing that's going on. So, like, to give an example, I used to listen to all these paranormal radio shows. And so another one I used to listen to, I mentioned in the previous video, was Red Ice Radio. They had a lot of good guests, and that's where I discovered Anthony Peake and his books and stuff, and his ideas on consciousness was through Red Ice Radio. But then eventually they started to get really political. They always were kind of a more political radio station or radio channel, and but they really went hard right at some point, and it kind of happened kind of gradually over the last few years that I used to listen to them. And so they had a guest on who was very pro-Hitler, and he made a YouTube video basically that putting forth the case that Hitler was a good guy and he was an okay dude and all this. And I think this is like one of the first videos I've heard of, I think, actually getting banned from YouTube or removed from YouTube. It was quite a few years ago. So I listened to the guest, and I didn't buy his argument at all. I thought it was a farce, and he was totally disingenuous. But I noticed that they kept almost becoming more and more pro-Hitler or something on Red Ice Radio, and they kind of got really hard right. And so I just decided for myself not to listen to them anymore. And I stopped listening to Red Ice Radio, and I just stopped going to their website, and I stopped watching their videos on YouTube. So I made that decision for myself. Now, do I think they should be taken down and banned? No. That's something I decided as an individual. And so I listened to it, and I decided to walk away from those ideas, and I rejected the message that they had, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So it was I used my own individual freedoms to do that. And so that's how I think it should be. I think everyone should have their own right to either watch something or not watch something, and not have someone else with the power to do it, because there's no one on earth that I trust with that kind of power to decide for myself what I can and cannot watch. So it's interesting to see what's going down on YouTube, and I'm sure there'll be more to this drama in the weeks to come with this whole adpocalypse thing. So let me know what you think in the comments section. And that's everything I got to say in this video. And I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers. And thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.